Hello, this is Dr. Ayleen, and this is Medicine Walk. And for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. So I hope everyone had a wonderful week. I hope you considered and started kind of thinking about what is your meditation practice. What is it that allows you to go into that comfortable place, to go into, that kind of contemplative, sort of just very gentle, soft space. Now, today we're going to be talking about a few of the mechanics of actually meditating. And some of the things, while there's a lot of different ways of meditating, there are certain things that kind of help, and so we're going to be talking about those today. And for those of you who are on YouTube, I am in the chat room right now. So if you have any questions during the show, then please come on and, you can join the chat and you can ask me questions. And I will answer them right then. And that's only for the premiere episode. After that, if you have any comments or questions, then please leave them in the comment section, and I will check them and I will respond to them. And also, if you are listening in on Healing House Radio, then you can leave comments there for this episode, or you can go to the YouTube channel, and the link is in the description. So, as we talk about meditation, like I said, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Normally, what you want to find is you want to find a, sort of a quiet place where you're not going to get disturbed. Now, that could be, there are amazing meditation centers where you can go and just kind of claim a space, and, they're all lined up and designed to be able to accommodate you. But if you're just at home, if you're just, maybe you're out in a park. So the idea is that first, that it's some place where you're going to be able to be physically comfortable. Now, you can meditate standing. Now, this is going to focus mainly on meditations where you're either seated, lying down, or, just in one of those positions, as opposed to meditations where you're walking, meditations where you're dancing, meditations where there is motion involved in it. So this one is mainly going to focus on sort of that more traditional viewpoint of meditating. So what you want, one, like I said, find a place that's quiet. Find a place where you're not going to be disturbed. And sometimes that can be very difficult, especially maybe you've got small kids. Maybe you've got, you're in a work situation. You want to find a meditation spot, in your workplace. So the idea of finding some place that, you can kind of close off yourself from the rest of the world just for a few minutes. I mean, a meditation can be as short as 5 minutes. Meditations can be as short as just taking a certain number of breaths. But, for now, we're just going to deal with the idea that, you may be going to be meditating for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. So find yourself a nice, comfortable place, a place that that feels safe. And what I mean when I say that feels safe, where you can feel like you can just let your barriers down. And meditation is that moment of just kind of releasing, becoming one with everything, and just being. And, so if you're in a situation where, maybe you don't feel as comfortable, maybe you don't feel quite safe, maybe you're wondering if somebody's going to, walk in or interrupt you, then you need to find a spot that will allow you that. Now, you can meditate seated, you can meditate sitting on a couch. Often, I like to just sit cross-legged. And, there's some that's like, well, your feet should be flat on the ground for the energy to flow. Do what you want. There are plenty of meditative practices that involve sitting cross-legged, lotus position. Some are where, you're lying down and, you're just in your space. Whatever's the most comfortable for you. Because also, this is going to involve, if you do have a physical situation where, maybe sitting is uncomfortable. Maybe you need to lie down. Maybe, with your feet hanging, flat on the floor, Maybe that's an issue for circulation, so you might need to lay back and have your legs elevated. If you have a physical limitation that is going to keep you from, trying to do it in one position, then just go with whatever position is the most comfortable. Because ultimately, that's what it is about. It's about you being comfortable. It's about you being able to let the physical body relax enough to where you are going to be able to, just kind of let your mind go. Because if the physical body is dealing with the discomfort, if you're laying, say if you're laying face up and you're trying to meditate and then your low back starts to hurt, what you can do is you can take, roll up a blanket or take a mat or take a pillow and put it up underneath your knees so that your knees bend, because when the knees bend, the lumbar spine will flatten out, and often that will be enough to resolve any discomfort. Because, this isn't about, suffering through it. I mean, and yes, there are some forms of meditation where there is a physical challenge involved with it. And we'll be talking about some of those later on. Those are very special circumstances. But for the most part, as you're sitting, as you're being comfortable, that first piece is that my body feels safe, my body feels balanced, and so my body can relax. And once the body relaxes, the mind can relax. So, whether it's sitting, standing, cross-legged, whatever, find the position that works for you. And then go ahead and get your body comfortable in it. The next step is to make sure that, you're able to just sit. And if you notice that, oh wow, if maybe you need to drink water, maybe you have a tendency to get thirsty, maybe you're on a medication that makes you thirsty, just make sure that you have water near you or anything you might need. If you're going to play music, then what you want is you want that music either to where it's automatic, and there are a lot of CDs that have a particular time. So, it will say 15-minute meditation or 30-minute meditation or 5-minute meditation. And it will actually lead you through a guided meditation that takes exactly that long. Now, if you're just going to kind of hang out and you want to, just kind of go with the flow, there are also a lot of other, really wonderful instrumental songs and musical pieces. And try them out. See what works for you. See, as you're listening to it, see what almost makes your body feel that slightly, sleepy, relaxed sort of feeling. If it kind of winds you up, that's probably not the best music to go for. So you want something that'll give you that that makes you feel like exhaling and inhaling. So once you got that, then you're going to want to figure out how you're going to breathe. Now, there's a lot of different ways, from just doing gentle breaths in and out, the way you normally breathe. There's, some say it's like, breathe in and out through the nose. Some say breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Some say that when you exhale, you can breathe in through the nose, and when you exhale, you make a sound, all the way out. So basically, once you figure out what works for you, once you figure out what it is that is your way, because this isn't about, meditating the way I meditate or meditating the way anybody else does. This is about you finding your particular technique that allows you to relax, to release, to surrender, and to just go into stillness. So, once you've got, you figure out your music and you get that playing, a really good way, one of the ways that I like to start my meditations is where I breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and then exhale for 8. And I do that 3 times. So, okay, inhale for 4, hold for 4, and then exhale for 8. So you do that, and what that does is when you inhale and you're holding, that means everything's getting oxygenated. And then as you exhale slowly. So it just brings everything down. And, and after doing that like 3 times, often, now if you're in a work situation, if you're in some place where, you can't get more than, just a minute to be able to rest and relax, figure in for 4, hold for 4, and out for 8. That's 16, basically 16 seconds. So doing that 3 times, you can be able to, so that's that's still less than a minute. And you will be amazed at how much that less than a minute can change your energy. It can change your balance point. It can allow you to center. And that is probably one of the easiest meditations. And some people might say that, it's like, well, it's only, it's less than a minute. How can you reach a meditative state in less than a minute? Try it. Just try it. In for 4, through the nose, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. And, you may feel a little bit lightheaded from it. You may feel a little bit altered, or maybe you just feel relaxed. Now, I do it 3 times as the opening and the prep for my meditations. If you want to just do that, if that is going to be your meditation, then what you want to do is you want to, do that, do it for like 3 times, then take like 3 normal breaths. And then you go back into in for 4 through the nose, hold for 4, and out for 8. So you can do it in sets. And what that will do is that definitely allows you to go into a very relaxed meditative state. Now, because of the fact that I use this as like the beginning of my meditations, I'm already starting to kind of feel like, oh, okay, I feel that kind of soft, sleepy, gentle kind of, way. And that's the best part, because if you, whatever it is you pick as what's called an induction is how you go into the meditative state. It's almost like the opening part of it. And then when you reach that place, when you reach that kind of level point, and then, maybe you just bring your hands down, maybe you just fold them, maybe you just bring them down, and after that it's just normal breathing. You can breathe in and out through your nose, you can breathe in and out through your mouth, you can decide what feels right for you. Some people, when they breathe in and out through their mouths get dry, so that makes it kind of tough, because then when your mouth is dry, then it's like, okay, I'm out of it because I'm aware of something physical going on with me. There's something physically uncomfortable. Which is why you can keep a glass of water nearby, take like a little sip. If your mouth starts to get dry, you don't have to come all the way back out, but you can be aware enough just to pick up a cup, sip, and put it back down. So, if you're breathing in and out through your nose, you don't have that dryness in the mouth. So, maybe it's just breathing in and out through your nose. But you decide what works best for you. As you go into that space, maybe you're listening to a guided meditation. If you're listening to a guided meditation, then what you want is just kind of softly listen. Picture not so much that you're listening to a recording, but that person is sitting next to you. And and that can really, if you find a guided meditation with someone with a really good voice that resonates with you, that just relaxes you, And, maybe there are certain accents that you resonate with. And you want to be able to hit that, what I call the sweet spot, where it just kind of goes, and you're there, and you're relaxed, and you're holding your body straight. You want to try to keep your body as straight as possible, whether you're laying down or whether you're sitting up. Because the more straight you keep your body, the more the diaphragm can lower. If you're hunched over, that's not a good way to meditate, because, you try to take a breath and it stops. It stops like right here. And so, you have your body up, shoulders back and down. And if you notice that, it's like try taking a breath with yourself bent over, and then take a breath with your body up. You'll notice you can drastically take a deeper breath when your body is upright, when your body is in a very straight position. And like I said, you could do this seated, you can do it standing, you could do it cross-legged. Whatever it is that works for you. So this is about you finding what works for you. So, those are really just kind of the basics. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the meditation itself. That's like the prep and the induction, the beginning part where you actually reach that place of just, in a way, nothingness, in a way, stillness, in a way, because at that point, usually that's the point when the chatter starts, when, you come into that space, and then there's like the little random thoughts that suddenly start coming up because everything's relaxed. So one of the ways to deal with that is to imagine yourself that you're floating on a river, and those thoughts are on the shore. And, and as you move past each thought, like, oh my God, did I remember to pay the PG&E? Or, oh man, I have to call this person. Picture them on the shore. Picture those thoughts on the shore. But see, you're moving past it. You're flowing. And it's not about trying not to think about them. It's almost impossible to, it's like, all right, I'm going to shut everything off, because, that's usually not how our brains work. Because the more you resist thinking about something, the more significant it becomes. If I were to tell you not to think of a purple giraffe with green spots, more than likely, most of you, as soon as I say purple giraffe with green spots, that's the image that you got. So it's not so much about saying, I will not think about this. It's, oh, okay, I noticed that, but I'm not going to stop at that. It's just going to flow past me. Some people picture it like, the thoughts are like little fluffy clouds that are flowing by you in a breeze. So whatever it is that allows you to just let that thought come and move through, figure out what visualization works for that. And in some cases, maybe you picture, you're inside an egg, and, and it goes like around you. And picture the thoughts on the outside. And as with each breath, the egg becomes less and less, the shell of the egg becomes less and less clear. And you can picture whatever beautiful colors, maybe you like green or blue. Picture that light inside of it. And the sound of that tapping of those ideas, on the outside of the egg gets softer and softer and softer as the density of that light increases. So there's nothing that you're aware of but that light. So, that is a great way to visualize kind of cutting it out. Now, the helpful thing about a guided meditation is that you're not experiencing an absence of thought or an absence of ideas, because one's being given to you. So that way you are able to, you can focus your mind on that. You can focus your mind on what's being said, where you're being led to. And that also can take away, some of the background chatter, the static. So you can purchase them. You can just, in many cases, they're available for download. So you can just look up, search on the internet, guided meditations. And, YouTube is filled with them. There's a lot of different types of meditations. So, if you like spending time on YouTube, you can be able to go and find that. Oh, okay. So, um, so we're just gonna do we're gonna do like a little short meditation. We're gonna do a little short guided meditation. So, I want you to become comfortable. Find that spot. Find how your body sits most comfortable. Does it kind of lean to one side? Does it lean to another? If you need to, get a pillow, and you can put a pillow behind you. So, because sometimes, when maybe you're sitting, you're leaning back, or your couch leans back. So if you put a pillow behind you, because like I said, the whole goal is to try to keep your body as straight as you can get it. So, think of a line going right through the top of your head, or the top of your hat, going through and down. So, just allow that. And once you find your position, take a nice deep breath in. And we're going to do that for the count. We're going to do that 4 count. In for 4, hold for 4, and then out for 8. So get comfortable. Now, inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold it for a count of 4. Now exhale for a count of 8. Now we're going to do that again. Inhale for a count of 4. Hold it for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 8. And one more time. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 8. Now take a gentle breath. And you can have your eyes closed, you can have your eyes opened, you can have your eyes relaxed, whatever's the most comfortable for you. And as you sit, and you're just breathing, just take a moment to really be aware of your body, how comfortable it feels. If there's any spot that you feel a little bit of tension, then, just softly shift so that it settles down, it settles in. Take another breath. And maybe you feel like you're floating if you're sitting in a chair. Picture that you're sitting on a cloud and the seat beneath you is a part of a cloud. And as little separate thoughts come in, feel yourself moving past it. You see them, you acknowledge them, maybe even make a mental note to deal with it later. And then you just keep going, lifting and moving. Maybe you feel like you're rising up into the sky, and you see the earth below you. You're surrounded by clouds. Maybe you want to float your cloud just above the ocean. And as dolphins jump and spring and play in the water, and maybe you see a whale breach right next to you, and as the whale moves beside you, you feel that oneness with the ocean. Or maybe you're up on a mountaintop, and the cloud takes you and it sets you on a mountaintop where you can see all around you, and it's quiet, and you see an eagle fly. And as you sit, wherever it is that this thought takes you, that that cloud takes you, it is a place of peace. It is a place of gentleness. It is a place of quiet. There's stillness. You don't have to deal with anything. You don't have to be anything. You just are. And give yourself a nice breath. Give yourself that nice, gentle moment of peace. Quiet, listening to the music, listening to whatever it is that you have, that that you're using as your background sounds. Maybe it's whale song, maybe it's the sound of rain. So whatever it is, just be with that. Experience that. And then, after a moment, take a nice deep breath in, and then let it out. And you feel that cloud just gently bringing you back to where you started. And it's a slow process. It's as slow as you want it to be. And the slower and the more gentle, the better. And then you feel it settle back in, and it becomes the seat you're sitting in. Or maybe you were sitting cross-legged on a pillow, and it becomes that. And as you settle back into your space, as you settle back into feeling your body and being aware of your body, take a nice deep breath in, and let it out. And then just keep doing breaths. As you take each breath, and breath fills your lungs, you're aware of your lungs, you're aware of your physical self. And then, when you feel that you want to, open your eyes. So that's a nice, gentle, guided meditation. I hope you enjoyed it. And we're going to be talking next week about meditations that involve things like spirit totems and spirit animals. How to do a meditation that connects with those. So, I hope you enjoyed this little introduction, and continue practicing a meditation. Find something that works for you. Listen to different types of music. If you have any questions about it, again, please post them in the comments, and I will address them in next week's video. And if you go to check the description, because I have listed some musical pieces that I really enjoy, so you can try those, you can try others. But this is about you finding your way and your meditation and what works for you. So, thank you for joining me. If you liked this video, if you found value in it, then please like it. You can share it, comment. You can subscribe, because we're trying to grow this community, and it's growing slowly, but I think that's very cool. So please, if you want to support, subscribe. And if you would like to support in a bigger way, in the description I have a Patreon account, and you can be able to contribute. It can be as low as like $2 a month, and basically it'll be to help me get better equipment and training on some different editing stuff, and just ways to improve the channel and ways to make this a better, more fulfilling experience for you. So, thank you. And as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you. And class dismissed.